Hello and welcome to Smartling. This video will help you navigate through your dashboard as a project manager or account owner in our Growth Edition. Smartling is a cloud-based translation management platform that will help you automate and optimize your translation process. You can log into your Smartling portal anytime directly from your browser at dashboard.smartling.com. You might want to bookmark the Smartling URL if you would like to proactively check your dashboard. Whenever you need to take some action, we will also send you an automated email notification with a direct link to your Smartling dashboard. To ensure that your notifications are set up correctly, please click into your Profile section from the drop-down menu next to your name. Please check that this toggle under your global notification preferences is switched on. In the Separate Notifications tab, you can also select the exact type of notifications that you would like to receive for each project. Now let's go back to the home screen by clicking on the Smartling logo. Before we'll dive right in and explore the dashboard, let's take a look at the way your content is structured in Smartling. Your Smartling account is organized into one or more projects. Projects can be thought of as folders that certain content types will be uploaded to. For example, there could be a project for your marketing assets, a project for your legal documents, a project for your website translation, etc. Within each of these projects or folders, you will then be able to create the actual translation tasks that we call jobs. These are the tasks that the translators will be working on, and they usually have a due date or deadline. To make the translation process easier and more efficient, our system automatically breaks down the content into smaller units that we call strings. In most cases, a string corresponds to a line of text or a paragraph to translate. To be considered completed, your content needs to go through a certain set of steps that we call a workflow. A workflow always needs to have a translation step, but there is also the option to configure additional steps, like an editing or proofreading step, or a step for your internal team members to review the translations. A workflow can be shared across multiple projects, or it can be customized for a certain content type or language that needs particular attention. Each of your projects will have a default workflow, but you can manually select a different workflow for each individual job as needed. To make sure that your account will be configured correctly, you can let your Smartling Customer Success Manager know during your onboarding calls how many projects are needed and which steps your workflows should include. Our team will then get everything set up for you. In the Smartling platform, the translators and proofreaders working on your content can access some additional documents and resources that help them produce great quality translations. Firstly, your style guide is a document that tells the translators how you want to portray your brand in the local markets and which tone of voice should be used in the translations. For example, you could determine if a formal or informal tone should be used, if colloquial expressions are acceptable, and how elements like prices or currencies should be handled. A glossary, on the other hand, is a list of key terms that are important to your organization and that should be translated consistently across all of your jobs. It typically includes an approved translation or definition for terms that are specific to your industry or company, as well as any brand terms that should stay untranslated. The translators can then see your instructions and information directly in their Smartling interface. Going back to your Smartling dashboard, you will find your account level settings and resources in the top navigation bar. From the Projects drop-down menu, you can easily navigate between all projects or folders that you have access to. Let's start our tour by clicking into one of our projects. When you access one of your projects, you can see a summary page that gives you an intuitive overview of the translation activity at one glance. Next to the project name, you can see a tile that indicates the project type. Smartling offers a wide range of integration options that allow you to connect your translation project directly to your website, your content management system, your code repository, or your design tools to speed up and automate the translation process. This gray tile will let you know if files are uploaded for translation or if a direct integration with your content management system or your website is used for this project. Once you are familiar with the project type, you can use the summary page to get a quick snapshot of the translation activity and to easily identify any areas that you might need to take action on. Scrolling down, you can find an overview of the translation progress for each language, as well as the exact workflow step that your content is currently sitting in. If you need a more detailed view of any of the areas mentioned here, you can make use of the other tabs listed in your project. In the Jobs tab, you can find all translation tasks for this project. If you're not sure which project a job is located in, or you prefer checking the translation tasks for all projects in one go, you can make use of the Jobs dashboard in your top navigation bar, which shows all jobs across all of the projects that you have access to. In your Jobs tab, you can see jobs across the entire life cycle. In Smartling, when a new job gets created, it then needs to be authorized to kick off the actual translation process. The job status then changes from awaiting authorization to in progress. Once a job has been fully translated and has gone through all workflow steps, it is considered completed and can be closed. Of course, if a job is no longer needed, you can also decide to cancel it. In your Jobs tab, you can get an overview of all jobs across all of these statuses. To locate specific jobs, you can narrow down your search by using the filtering options on the left side. You can now see the name of each job, as well as the name of the project that it belongs to. You can see the overall status for each job, as well as a color-coded progress bar. The total words show the number of source words across all languages. The due date is the final deadline, when all steps for this job should be completed. And lastly, you'll be able to see when the job was created. From the ellipsis menu, you can rename, cancel, or close a job. For an even more detailed view, you can click on the name of the job that you'd like to check. This job details page allows you to see which target languages and which files are part of your job. The color-coded progress bars show you the status of each language and each file. In the History tab, you can check when the job was created and which actions were taken on it. From the panel on the left side, you can access all strings that are part of this job to see the actual text to translate. Here, you're also able to adjust the overall deadline for this job. The Estimate panel shows the total source word count as well as the weighted word count. You can expect to get a discount if the content to translate is very similar or even identical to some text that has already been translated previously, because the translators need to spend less time on it. In Smartling, all translations get saved to a so-called translation memory that allows your linguists to easily reuse previous translations. For this reason, you often won't pay the full rate for the entire content in your job. The weighted word count shows an estimate of how many words you'll actually pay the full per word rate for. If all pricing rates have been provided, you can also see a monetary cost estimate for your job. In Smartling, you will have several options of providing further context to your linguists to help them deliver great quality translations. On the bottom half of this job details page, you can check if any visual context or images have been uploaded for the translators, or if a description with further explanations has been added. The reference number field allows you to enter internal notes, such as a request number. If you would like to create a new translation job, the process may vary depending on the exact type of integration or upload option that you are using. If you are manually uploading files for translation, you can simply click the Request Translation button in your jobs dashboard to drag and drop a file to translate. There will be a two-step process for kicking off a new job from this window. First, you need to upload your file to create the job. Please note that some file types might need to be prepared and formatted for the translation process before you can upload them. In our Help Center, you can find more information about each file type and the correct format to use. You will now be asked to enter the desired job name, any descriptions that can provide further context to the translators, as well as the required target languages. In a second step, you will now be able to see a cost estimate and the expected due date. If you are happy to proceed, you will now be prompted to authorize the job. Only once a job has been authorized, the translation process will be kicked off and can begin. If you are not sure if the job can be kicked off, or you would like to check the content first, you can simply click Save for later. You can go back to the saved job at any time from your jobs dashboard. Once the job has been completed, you will receive an email notification with a direct link to the completed job. You can download the translations directly from the Files tab. If you are using one of our connectors, it is very important to create the translation job directly from the connector interface to avoid any issues with retrieving the completed translations. If your connector has a Smartling interface with a connector tab listed in your project, you will see a list of all translatable assets here. You can select one or more assets and create a translation job for them by clicking Request Translation from the Actions menu. If your connector does not have a tab in Smartling for the job creation, you will be able to create a new job directly from within your content management system. Once the completed translations are available, they will be sent back automatically to your content management system. In our Help Center, you can find more information about the connector that you are using and all relevant settings. If you are using our Global Delivery Network, or GDN, to automate the translation of your website, you can use the Pages tab in your project. Here, your website content is grouped by URL. You can click the Capture Domain button to browse a pseudo-translated copy of your website and to navigate to the exact page that you want to translate. This will automatically capture the text from your web page and upload it to your Smartling project. This URL is now available in your refreshed Pages tab, and you can create a translation job for it by selecting the option Request Translation from the Actions menu. Once the translations are ready, they will be displayed directly on your localized website. If you are using a different integration to upload new content and to retrieve translations, we would recommend visiting our Help Center or consulting with your Smartling Success Manager for further information. Once there are some translation jobs in progress, the linguist working on your content might want to reach out if they have any questions or feedback. In Smartling, the Issues feature allows your linguists to communicate directly with you or with each other without having to leave the translation platform. We distinguish between two types of issues. Source issues allow your linguists to ask you questions about the text to translate. These queries typically require your input and clarifications. Translation issues, on the other hand, can be used to provide feedback or comments about the translation quality and are typically opened by proofreaders or reviewers. By clicking on the red flag symbol in your top navigation bar, you can access all unresolved issues for the projects that you have access to. To leave a response, simply click into the issue text and add a comment. The linguist working on this translation will now be notified automatically about your reply. Provided that your notifications are enabled, you will also receive an automated email when a new source issue gets opened by one of your linguists, so you can respond directly from your inbox. As your team is uploading more and more text for translation, you might need to make use of our search options to find the exact content or translations that you are looking for. The Strings tab lists out all strings or text units that have been uploaded to your project, across all languages, all jobs, all files, and all statuses. To locate specific strings, you can find a range of filtering options on the left-hand side. For example, you can filter for a specific job or status, one or more target languages, certain keywords, or files. Each string will be displayed for all of your target languages. If you prefer for each string to be shown only once, instead of listing out the details for each language, you can click the Show Source Language Only checkbox. You will see the source text on the left, any saved translations, the file or the URL that this string is coming from, the target language, the job that the string is a part of, and its status. If there is any visual context available, for example from a screenshot or from a web page, this will be listed underneath the file name. From the ellipsis menu, you can check all string details, any issues that may have been opened, any instructions that have been provided to the translators, and the string history, which will show you when the content was uploaded and which actions were taken on it. This History tab gives you full visibility and comes in handy if you need more details about the exact workflow steps that the content has passed through or is currently sitting in. Once you have applied the desired filters in your string search, you will be able to take bulk actions on the selected content. You can manually select one or more strings, or click the checkbox on top to select all. You can simply click the button Select All Matching Current Filter to take action across all strings, matching the filters that you've just applied. From the Actions menu, you will now be able to manage the selected content. You can add instructions or images, which will be shown to the translators in their Smartling interface. If needed, you can also remove any existing visual context. These actions affect all languages. For example, if you add an image to a string, it will show up for the translators working on all languages. All other actions that are grayed out in your menu are part of our Enterprise Edition. If you need any of the features listed here on a regular basis, please feel free to contact your Customer Success Manager about the potential switch to our Enterprise platform. If you would like to upload visual context in bulk, you can make use of the Next tab in your project. The Context tab gives you a holistic overview of all visual context that's available in your project. From here, you can also upload context files such as images, screenshots, or HTML files. Thanks to our optical character recognition, the uploaded content will automatically be paired with any matching strings in your project that don't have any context yet. The linguist working on your translations will see this visual context in a very prominent position in their Smartling interface, so it can help them make the right choice of words and deliver great quality translations. Once your project and workflows are fully set up, you might need to add some people who will work on your content. In the Team tab under your account settings, you can add new members to your Smartling team and manage the accounts and permissions of your existing team members. Smartling is a permission-based platform. This means that there will be a two-step process to adding new team members. First, you need to select their user role and enter their email address. Smartling offers a variety of user roles, depending on the tasks that your team member will carry out in our platform. Then, in a second step, you will need to give them access to your project or to a step in your workflow. Your new team member will now receive an invitation email from Smartling, and they can set up their account free of charge. Last but not least, your Smartling reports help you track and analyze your translation volumes as well as translator queries. If you have any questions or require any assistance, you can reach our support team directly from the Help tab by clicking Contact Support. For more information about any of the features in your Smartling dashboard, we would recommend taking a look around our Help Center, where you can find valuable information to help you get started. Thank you very much for your time today. We are looking forward to welcoming you back in Smartling very soon.